Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different for me, but one I have been hinting at for well over a year. I finally feel like I have enough products to do. This is products I've used over 100 times. So these products are either favorites of mine, have been in project pans, which they have all been in project pans. Things I'm just reaching for lately. A lot of these I'm trying to finish up this year specifically. This video is taking me so long because I would finally reach around the 100 use mark, not really have enough products yet, and then I have been like finishing things that were on this list. So it's taken me a long time to like have enough in a bin here to show you, but I'm excited to have that now. And I'm just going to try not to ramble. I think I've been doing a little bit better at that these days, and let's hop right in. This video was inspired by Too Much Tosh's 100 Club. I am also doing Project 100 Uses. That has mostly eyeshadow palettes in it. I can link that playlist down below if you're interested. I should update that project soon as well now that I'm thinking of it. I'm not on a good update schedule for that project, just usually after I meet a 100 use goal, I usually come back and update that project, but maybe I should do that more frequently to keep it at the forefront of my mind. I don't know. Okay, rambling, great. The first product I reached 100 uses on that I still have here is this Bodyography lip liner in the shade Heatherberry. And I don't usually track uses on lip liners, which you'll see in a second, but I know for sure I used this over 100 times because it was in my whole collection project pan a long time ago and I was tracking usage. So this was a full-size lip liner, and 100 uses used less than half of the pencil, which was quite surprising to me. I got this from a BoxyCharm. It is a rosy shade, which I don't typically reach for rosy lip colors. I don't find them overly flattering on me, so this was a bit tricky to use, and I did use it over 100 times. I don't even know if I've reached for it more than a handful of times after that. A lip liner I've been using a lot this year. I've been trying to finish it. This is my Lord & Berry Nude Lip Liner. I believe this is in my whole collection project pan, and this is a more neutral shade, if you can see here, compared to the pinky rosy shade of Heatherberry. And again, I'm not tracking usage in the way I track for a lot of these other products, but this is the only lip liner I have been reaching for outside of like maybe a red lip liner all year long. So basically every time I've done my makeup, if I could wear a nude lip liner, I have been reaching for this, even if the color of lipstick or lip gloss I'm putting on top of it doesn't match perfectly. A nude is a nude for the most part, for me at least, and I've made really good progress on this lip liner this year, but I don't know if I could finish it. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this progress, and I'm pretty sure I've used this over 100 times. I surprisingly only have 2 eyeshadow palettes here, which really means I need to refocus on my Project 100 uses. First, I have my ABH Modern Renaissance. I have worked on this a lot over the years. I have 4 pans in it. You guys know that Pan That palette is not really in the cards for me, but with this one I like to at least hit a pan or 2 every year just to see some visual progress happening. I've used this palette 103 times, and when I say that, and then the next palette I have is my Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. I've used 113 times, and I only have 1 pan showing in here. The Modern Renaissance has 10 fewer uses, 4 pans, and lots of dips. So I really like tracking makeup to also see differences in formulas, because this formula is very stiff, very firmly pressed, whereas this one is more powdery. And I just think it's interesting to compare brands and maybe what's more worth your money and what isn't. Eyeshadow palettes, I mean, I'm not going to use up either of them to completion, but I'm going to get more uses out of this palette than this one. if I were to try and finish them to completion, if that makes sense. I've been tracking my makeup usage for over 3.5 years now. January 2020 is when I first created my makeup tracking spreadsheet where I tally every use I use, and it's really not time consuming. A lot of people ask like why I do that, and I don't have to like do my makeup and then sit down with my spreadsheet and take forever. I can mostly just remember what I applied that day, or I just keep it in a little bin just like this until I do track it, and it literally takes less than a minute to just go add one number to the variety of products I applied to my face that day. This primer I have been using this year, I believe in my Partners in Cream project pan. Because I missed so many updates now, I'm finding it hard to remember which products are in which projects just off the top of my head. But this is the Cover FX Blurring Primer, and I've used it 109 times, and it is so close to being empty. When I shine a light through here, I'm just seeing a little bit of primer like at the very edge where the cap is. I think I can finish this in the next week, so that's why I wanted to push and film this video. But it has over 100 uses on it, which is exciting, and I feel like that's a good benchmark for a foundation or a primer. With it having 1 fluid ounce of product, I typically get around slightly over 100 uses on something. There's been a lot of foundations I've gotten to like just over 100 and then finished, which is why you're not seeing them in this video. But a concealer I have over 100 uses on and it's still not gone is my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. When this had the stopper in, which is currently out, around the 70-75 use mark, I was starting to feel like there is a lot of windowing. I'm not getting a lot of product on my wand. I think it's close to being done. I'm now at 105 uses. The stopper is out, like I said, but there is still so much product on here. Can you see how gooped up this wand is? And I wasn't getting anything on the wand anymore, which is why I took the stopper out, and there's still so much product in here. I think it's going to take me another month or two of use, if I'm honest. So over 100 uses on this Naked Skin Concealer. This is the second one I finished, but I wasn't tracking makeup in this way when I finished the first one, so I'm not sure if there's a difference. But if you finished this and tracked usage, let me know how many uses it took you to complete your Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer or any of these products. If you finished it and know how many uses it took you, let me know. Because I feel like I'm very light-handed with makeup, which has definitely affected a lot of these products. I have one powder to share with you. This is my Rimmel Stay Matte powder, and as you can see, it has a huge pan. This part here broke because Domino shoved it off of my table while making direct eye contact with me. That cat is a menace. But I did hit pan here, and I've used this 101 times. And it's pretty thin in there, except at the edges. There's still a lot of product around the very edge here. So I think it might even take 100 more uses to officially finish this. Another example of something I used up after surpassing 100 uses is my Milani eyeshadow primer. That is definitely worth the money. I'm now tracking my eye primers once again, but nothing over 100 yet. I do have a face palette, my IBY Highlight and Contour palette. I've used this 134 times that I have tracked. I have major pan happening in Highlight 2. I'm now trying to hit pan in Highlight 1 in my whole collection project pan. I really like the formula in here, though it is getting quite old. I'm not sure like at what point I will declutter it, probably when it's not performing well anymore, or I mostly use up these I almost said 2 sets of 2, because the Highlight 3 and Contour 3 are for deeper skin tones than my own. We shall see. I don't really feel like frankening the crap out of this in order to use up the whole thing. I will be satisfied if I can finish 4 out of 6. That would feel good, but right now I'm focused on hitting pan over here, and like I said, well over 100 uses so far. Okay, cheek products, no one's going to be surprised. I have my Model Co. Peach Bellini blush. This is the only blush I have ever hit pan on, I believe. And I'm at 137 uses for this, so I feel like that's pretty good. We have a little pan up there in the top at the side. It is very sloped, which I've talked about 100 times on my channel. But I don't know, it's such a weird, it's looking weird. But I just continue to pick away at this year after year, use it 20 to 30 times, set it aside, use something else. I'm going to have to be buried with this blush because it's still going to be kicking around. I have two highlighters I've used over 100 times. One is going to be a spoiler for an upcoming project pan. I hit pan in it around the 97 use mark, I believe, and I did use it 3 more times to hit 100. This is the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Smoke and Whistles. This has been my favorite, like, fair-skinned, wintry highlight. It's quite a bit too light for me now that I have a tan, but there's finally pan in here. I posted a reel of the week leading up to hitting pan, which was exciting for me as well. And then I have Becca Champagne Pop here, which I've used 121 times. And this took 119 uses to hit pan, and it is just a little baby pan. I don't even know if you can really see it that well on camera, but this took me a long time. This is one of my oldest highlighters. I think I bought this like when Champagne Pop came out. But there's still a ton of highlighter in here. This is going to take me forever to finish as well. Let's do bronzers and then we'll finish off with some more lip products. I just want to do lip liners first because that was the first on my list. The thing I hit 100 uses on longest ago. But for bronzers, I have the Body Shop Honey Bronzer, which took me forever to hit pan on. I've since been kind of chipping away at it and using it to franken other things. So the uses aren't completely accurate because I only count uses when I'm like just using this compact. But I have 135 tracked uses on this. As you can see, I have a ginormous pan. I did, like I said, scrape a bunch out of this and franken it with NARS Laguna to finish off. And I think that's going to have to be how I eventually finish this because this is super light. Even though I am very fair in the winter, I tan very easily. This isn't even a fake tan and my face is too light and I'm using some of my darkest foundations. And even in winter, this is super light for me. So I think I'm just going to, every time I need to repress a bronzer in the future, scrape some of this out and add it in. I also have my Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer. I'm at 115 uses on this, and this also has a mega pan. It's interesting to see the difference between what over 100 uses look like on my bronzers versus what over 100 uses look like on my highlighters, like this tiny little pan, as well as blush. Like, I just find tracking usage and all these like stats to be very interesting to my nerdy little brain. You guys should see my neurotic spreadsheets. I have formulas involved in my makeup spreadsheets. Like, I've taken it a little too far maybe. Alright, I wanted to share 3 lip glosses. All 3 of these are leaking in my bin when they're not upright. Love that for me. First, I have my NYX Creme Brulee, and I finally have windowing to here. Not even that far down. It took me so long to get windowing. This has 8 mils of product in it. There's a lot of gloss in these NYX Butter Glosses. With my lip products, I don't track reapplications, which makes this a guess, but a pretty good guess in my opinion. I have worn this 47 days, and when I wear a lip gloss, I'm applying like 3 to 5 times per day, I would say. So 47 times 3, if we're on the air on the side of caution. It's still well over 100 uses, and I am not even halfway through this gloss. So then we have my Dominique Peach Tea gloss. I have worn this for 59 days. Again, lots of reapplications in there, and this one is almost gone. I am at the very tail end here in this pointy part. You'll have to let me know, do you guys, oh my god, look at the windowing. I don't know if you can see all of that. Do you guys always take the stoppers out of your glosses? Because I'm already finding this to be such a mess. It comes out through the cap, and that's with the stopper in. And I honestly don't know if it's worth it to me to take the stopper out, but then is it not truly an empty? I don't know. Every time I close it, gloss oozes out of the top here, and I clean it like once a week, and it just keeps feeding up back through the top, which I hate, and it is stored upright, but I can't take this anywhere with me because it gets sticky all in my purse. All three of these do, my 3 most used lip glosses. So is that just a thing that happens when you use lip glosses a lot, that it starts like coming up through the neck of the gloss? You'll have to let me know. Lastly, I have this Cab, oh there's cat hair on it, ew. Lip oil in Rum Punch, and this has 37 tracked uses on it, but I know for a fact that I was reapplying this like crazy when I was using it, because I had it up in my everyday makeup drawer for a couple of months, and I made significant progress on this. Honestly, I'm thinking I should pull this back out and see if I can finish this before the end of the year, because I just love this so much. It smells so good. I love the formula of it. And how much does this have? 6 grams or 0.2 ounces. There's a decent amount of product in here as well. And I was reapplying this like crazy just because I loved it so much. It smells good, it feels good, looks good. So 37 days of all of those reapplications, I know for sure I've used this over 100 times. And then now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it, I think maybe I could finish this before the end of the year as well. This is going to be empty very soon, really soon, if I don't have to take out the stopper to consider it an empty. It's just, with like the Buxom mini glosses, I've used a bunch of those up in the past. I have taken the stoppers out of some of those, but I found them less messy than this one is messy even with the stopper in, so I'm very concerned to take it out. This one I've used so much, and I feel like I'm not even halfway through it. So once again, we have the differences in formula here as well. So that's a 5.5 mils or 2.5. I can't even, that's so small. There's not that much gloss in the Dominique Cosmetics versus these other ones, but anyways, my voice is starting to go. This is the collection of products I have set aside. I've used over 100 times. I have realized that I really need to get a move on my eyeshadow palettes, because that is just sad. Only 2? That really surprised me actually. And I love seeing all of the pans in this collection of products that I've shown you guys, and I'm excited to start tracking like a new set of products as well. And I think in the next one that I do, I will also see if there's any that are like at 200 uses as well, because I'm just going to keep tracking. I find it really fun. You'll have to let me know if you track your makeup as well. Do you have nerdy makeup spreadsheets like I do? Do you think 100 uses is like a good benchmark? I feel like that's significant like use and dedication and love for someone like me that has a decently large collection. When you think about it, 100 uses for like a normal consumer who has like a makeup bag is like a couple months of regular use for their makeup. But for me, like, this took me a long time to have this bin of product. This video idea has been on my list for well over a year, and here we are. So I'm happy to have finally been able to film this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!